Okay, let's get into it. Today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the biggest names in pharmaceuticals.
Janssen Pharmaceutica.
Exactly. And we're not just looking at their products, we're looking at their memory, their corporate memory, and how the story they tell compares to, well, the public record.
Our whole mission here is to put those two things side by side. You have the official story, the one centered on Dr. Paul Janssen and his research lab in 1953.
Right, the founding myth.
And then you have the Belgian corporate registry. And just for fun, we found a really strange parallel with a fishing company in New Zealand.
Okay, so let's start with that official story. 1953, that's the big head-turning date they promote.
It is. But the verifiable legal record tells a story that's fudged by almost 2 decades.
2 decades.
The corporate ledger shows that this company, under its current enterprise number, was legally established on October 23, 1934.
1934, that's a huge gap. And Paul Janssen, I mean, he would have been, what, a child?
He was 8 years old, so no, he wasn't founding a research lab.
So what was founded in 1934? Who was behind it?
It was Paul's father, Constant Janssen, and the company was called NV Product and Richter. It was basically a distribution firm.
A distribution firm?
Yeah, its main job was to import and sell products from a Hungarian company, Gideon Richter. So the origins aren't an invention, they're in commerce.
But why hide that? I mean, why actively scrub the 1934 date? You'd think older roots would be a good thing.
It's all about the narrative. A distribution company sells drugs. A research lab invents them. It's textbook backcasting. You pick a more heroic moment later in your history and make that your official start.
That makes a lot of sense. And the name we all know, Janssen Pharmaceutica, that didn't even exist back then.
Not until much later. The name was formally changed on February 10th, 1964.
Wait, 1964, that's 3 years after they were acquired by Johnson & Johnson.
Precisely, which strongly suggests that cementing the Paul Janssen, the research founder narrative, was a deliberate post-acquisition branding decision.
So they can rewrite time. What about geography? Let's talk about the manufacturing plants.
Right. So the corporate history says they built plants first 2001 Live in a town called Giel between 75 and 84.
Okay.
But what's fascinating is that the main company entity has always been legally registered in a different town, in Beers.
So not in Giel.
And it gets weirder. If you look up the street in Giel that's literally named Janssen Pharmaceutical Land, the main Janssen NV entity isn't registered there.
Get out. The street is named after them, but they aren't legally located on it.
Instead, you find chemical suppliers,
What?
companies like Across Organics and Fisher Chimica. It raises a lot of questions about how those manufacturing assets were legally structured.
Okay, this is already a lot, but now for that parallel you mentioned, the one in New Zealand.
Yes, this is just a fascinating insight into corporate storytelling. There's a Norwegian-New Zealand family named Janssen, spelled with an E, who run a deep-sea trawling company, totally unrelated.
A fishing company. All right.
Their modern operation really gets started around 1953,
You're kidding me.
and they undergo a major structural change in 1964.
That is bizarre.
And here's the kicker. There are 3 main vessels. They're named Genko first, Genko the second, and Genko the third. It's the same 3-unit naming pattern as Janssen's Panther second and the third. It just shows how certain patterns are appealing when you build a story.
Wow.
So when you boil it all down, you see this critical difference between the legally verifiable history, which starts in 1934 as a distribution firm,
And a completely different strategically constructed narrative that starts in 1953 with this heroic research story.
2 very different origins for the same company.
And that really leaves you with a final thought to chew on. How many of the corporate histories we take as fact are actually just carefully curated stories designed to erase inconvenient beginnings, and what other truths are just sitting there waiting in a public registry somewhere?